3406.
Hello all and welcome back to my channel. This is Sierra Yankee 1 Echo Bravo Echo from Greece, and I have with me another beast. The second version of Baofeng's UV25 radio. I already made a review for the first one. The first version of UV25, also known as the Beast, was something that we had to see in the channel because it was so impressive. A really big size radio with a huge battery, a very tactical approach by Baofeng, and today we have with us the second version, the newest model of this series, which is named Baofeng UV25 Plus GPS. So it's appropriate to say it's the Beast number 2. It's upgraded, it has GPS and a few more things that we'll check in the video. And right now, let's do the unboxing. Okay. User manual, as always. I really like that Baofeng has started putting extensive manuals in its radios. I mean, I have seen other radios recently that have only a few pages like this, just explaining some basic things. While they have a lot of functions, they don't explain a lot of things, but I think a user manual like this is appropriate for end users, experienced users or not, because you have to check a lot of things in these new radios, and it should be readily available to all of us. So let's see what this is. The radio. Okay, I know it looks kind of like the first version. It looks a lot like the first version actually. Baofeng has changed some things here in the keyboard. It doesn't have the shortcut options as it used to. Now it's a text keypad. We'll check the menu system in a minute. Of course, the huge battery with screws to secure it on the radio. A very good feature for that size, that the battery is not clip-on. And of course, the size is bigger. It's 5200 milliamps. It can easily give you a lot of juice, this one. USB-C charging here. So we have a USB-C cable. Of course, the charger. A lanyard. This came with a gooseneck antenna. The flexible one. And it also had in the box this one, the small one, the really small one, a BF805S. Well, if you ask my opinion, it's nice that they included this antenna in the radio, but I have to say this looks kind of funny on this radio. I mean, yeah, look at this thing. Yeah, well, still, it's nice to have this one, the small one, maybe for some other of your Baofeng radios. A solder microphone. A really good inclusion for this type of radio because this thing is really heavy, so it's good to have this so you can clip it on your clothes or something. And also something else that I have to say, because a lot of us seek high power radios, handheld radios, and the norm was about 5 watts, but now we have radios that are 10 watts, 12 watts, 8 watts. This one says that it's a 12 watt radio. We're going to test that later. But you know, it's not good for our heads to transmit in that power, holding this thing right next to our head. This is a rule for ham radio. You have to use the lowest power possible that you can in order to communicate and not put your radio in full power. But up to 5 watts, let's say it's okay. Now that we go to 10 and 12 watts, we have to be more careful how we transmit and how close to our heads these radios are. So a solder mic is always my option. I really like to have one of those even with my handheld radios and talk through this thing and have the radio a little bit further from me. And also it's easier because, as I said before, this is a heavy radio. So really good inclusion from Baofeng for this radio. Another thing that I didn't expect, a tactical case. Well, it's not a case, it's a pouch, a tactical pouch with a strap to put it around your shoulder maybe. Great inclusion in the pack. Belt clip, of course, and a smaller headset to have with you. Right. So let me put the battery on. Okay, the battery is on and let's turn it on. Right, so we have a bigger screen than the previous version. Also, the menu system and the graphics are different. I really prefer this version, I have to say. It looks better. Of course, we have two banks, as usual. It has dual watch. On the side we have the PTT button, three other side buttons up and down of the PTT, and of course here is the Kenwood plug, the classic 2-pin plug for our headsets and the programming. Let's have a quick look in the menu. Now here we have banks, banks of memories. It has 10 banks of 100 channels each bank. It's 1000 channels. I mean, I can't feel that. Personally, I don't have so many memories to pass inside, but some of you might have. But the good thing is that you can categorize all the channel memories that you have in 10 different banks or zones. I don't know how they call it. Sometimes I see it written as zones, sometimes I see it written as banks. Here in the menu, we have banks. So if I select this, I already have passed some memories in the radio, so I can test it and show it to you. And as you can see, I have already named them with the CPS. I'll show you how to do this. The first one is PMR GMRS, my repeaters, Nikon, some personal frequencies here, ISS, airband, and some other memory groups that I want. Right, so this is the first menu item. Second, we have a menu item that is called Scan. Let's go inside. Frequency range. In here you can put range for VFO frequency scanning. So let's say I'll select UHF 400 to 470 and press OK. Right, so now it's set to this range. We can do a VFO scan. Second menu item, scan mode, time, carrier and search. Yes, of course, as usual in most radios. Scan subcode, this is for CTCSS scanning and for DCS scanning. Memory scan, all decoder encoder. I guess I'll have to look it up. Well, the translation here, I'm sure we'll find out in the manual what exactly that means, but in any case, of course, I'm going to leave it to all. Third menu option is radio setting, and here you can set the step. Okay. Of course, squelch, power save. In power save, we don't have many options. We have on or off. I'll leave it on. Vox, Vox level, Vox delay, timeout timer. This is timeout timer alert. I think yes, so it can alert you before the timeout timer expires. Voice, I'll leave it off. I'll just put it on for the video, but
Enter.
it's kind of funny.
1, 2, 0.
Okay, enough for that. Sorry, I'll just turn the voice off. Roger beep, okay. I'm gonna leave this off. Beep, this is the beep sounds here on the keyboard. Backlight, I have it always on now for the purposes of this video. Power on display. We have picture and voltage. At the moment, I think I can't change the picture, the boot up logo, but I believe that there will be soon a way with some other modified CPS perhaps. I'll come back to that when I find more information. Dual watch, yes, we have it on. Auto lock, alarm mode. Let's see, on site, send out, send code. Of course, I'm going to leave it on site right now. Alarm tone. Okay, this is an ENI, DTMF, PTTID, delay, alert. This is the alert tone, tail, menu exit time. Oh, right. Perhaps I'll increase that a bit. Okay. Reset, and we're back. So, SK1, this is to modify the side key 1. It's the only key that we can modify in those here. So I guess we have the options for FM radio, scan, search, and activate the Vox. Okay. Next menu option, GPS. As it's called here, GNSS. Let's see what there is inside. GPS on off. Remember that it's up your battery, but of course in this radio we have plenty of it, so it's your choice. Next menu item in the GPS is time zone. Remember, you have to set this for your country. Now, since this is a GPS time, it's depending on UTC. So here in Greece, for instance, we have UTC +2 for winter and UTC +3 for summer time. So I'll just set it to UTC +3 for now. Okay. And the next menu item is GPS mode, if we want GPS, BDS or both. I guess the BDS is the Baidu Chinese satellite system. I'll just leave both because I believe that it would be better to receive a more accurate signal. Okay, I changed it by mistake. Right. All right. Back in the main menu, the next one is program channel. Everything that you need to program your memories are in the radio. You can program the names of all the memories. RxTX frequency, transmit power, bandwidth, CTCSS or DCS for transmit and reception, encryption if you want scrambling, which remember is illegal in most countries. Okay, signaling is for some DTMF tones that you can send in the channels. MDF, you know what this is, got to display in the main screen, name, frequency or channel number. We'll leave it to name. SP mute. This is how it activates the reception, the monitor mode. QT is when you have a CTCSS tone set to receive a signal. There is another option that you can lock this further by putting also a DTMF tone in the reception. So your radio won't activate reception if it does not receive the correct DTMF tone as well as the CTCSS tone. Scan add, if we want to add this channel in the scanning list. Busy lockout. Channel memory, yes, this is to put it in which memory we want. delete, of course, and we're back to the beginning. So this is the program menu for the channels. You can do almost all things from in here, from the radio. Let's continue to see the next menu item. There is one called Fold Down. We'll see that in a minute. And the last one is Radio Info. Let's check that. Okay, we have firmware version and hardware version. Right, so let's go back to the previous menu item, the Fold Down. This is one of the features that impressed me in this radio. It's not in the Baofeng UV25 in the first version, it's in this version, the newest radio. And I mean, for a radio of this kind, that is kind of more tactical, maybe better suited for mountain use and things like that, hiking and stuff like that, because it has a huge battery, maybe some camping and situations like this. This is a feature that I have to say it's not something that you will use daily, but you might use it when you need it the most, when a situation is bad. There is a possibility that might save someone from a bad situation. I'm not saying that it will be. I'm not saying that it's the most life-saving feature that, or the most life-saving thing you could have with you, but it's a plus. It's an added thing. And what it does is that it detects if the radio is tilted in a position that it shouldn't, or stayed down for a long time, or for a period of time that you will set. And if you activate it also with the alarm function of the radio, it will start transmitting a local sound and also in the frequency that you have set in the radio. So let's have a look here at this menu. Okay, in trigger mode we have 4 options. Right now I have it to off, and we have 3 more options on how this feature will be activated. Of course, the translation is not the best, but okay, I'll explain you what they mean. So, the first one is tile. This means that if the radio is tilted in an angle that you will set in the menu, in the system, and remains there, it will start the alarm. The second one is motionless. This doesn't have to do with the angle of the radio. If the radio is stationary for a period of time that you will set, it will set off the alarm. And the third one, the third option here is tile or motionless. So it will activate both times depending on the angle and the motion of the radio, but it will be either one. Let's do a small example here. I'll put it to tile at the moment. And if we go back to the fold down menu, we'll see that the second menu item is tilt angle. So here we can select after which angle the radio should activate the alarm. I believe that a 30 degrees angle is a very small one, but okay, the default was 60, I'll put it in 75. Cue delay time. As I said, the translation is not very good, but this is when the alarm will activate, after how many seconds the alarm will activate. So right now it's in 10 seconds, but of course you need to set this maybe longer, just to be sure that it won't activate in any small event. So it can go up to 255 seconds. The shorter one is 10 seconds. I'll put this in 12 seconds. Okay, and this is it says pre-queue time. This is a timer alerting you that the main alert, the alarm will go on. And this has to be shorter than the time you put in the previous menu. So we'll put it at 30 seconds here. We have the main alarm in 12 seconds. That's okay. We have set it to tile. And let's see how this works. We'll just place it here. and wait for 10 seconds, I guess. Right, those beeps are the pre-alert timer, and this is the main alarm. Perfect. Okay, now it doesn't transmit to other frequencies because I have set the alarm to local mode, but I guess if I'll put it on transmit also, it will start transmitting in the set frequency this tone. So if you ask me, this is a pretty impressive feature. I wish more radios had it. It's a thing that you will need once, maybe never. I hope that you will never need it. For those of you that like to go alone hiking and things like that, I believe that you will find this thing useful. It's a feature that I would like to have in my radio. Right, so before I continue, let's check the side keys. As I said before, 3 side keys here. This is side key 1. I have set the SK1 key that is programmable from the menu of the radio to scan. Not scan the memories or the VFOs, but scan for a frequency that is transmitting, the SIG scan. So if I press it 1, it will start searching for transmitting frequencies. Of course, I don't have one right now. And as you can see up here, it says UHF. If I press hashtag or the ZRO key, it will change to VHF 200 MHz, 350, and back to UHF. So you better set this key from the CPS or from the menu of the radio to scan. Okay, next the SK2 button, FM radio activate, or if you long press, it opens the monitor. And the SK3 button up here, short press, it changes, I don't know if you can see it, it's right here, it changes the power, the transmit power in the set channel. So right now it's low. If I press it again, it goes to high, medium, and back to low. And if I long press the SK3, the up button here, it will activate the alarm. Cover your ears. All right. Let's have a look at the power output before we continue to the CPS and see how to program this beast, and also some tricks that might help you in chirp. Okay, for the power test, here we have 2 random frequencies at 2 meters and 70 centimeters, and I have my power meter on. Let's check first. This is 2 meters, 140 megahertz at low power. So this is low power, 2 meters. And we have 2.3 something watts. Okay, let's go to medium power. 2 meters again. 6.3 watts. Okay, interesting. And let's go to high power at 2 meters. Let's see what we get here. It's supposed to be around 12 watts. Okay, 11.5. Very close. Nice. Powerful, really powerful. And let's check the 3 power modes in UHF in 70 centimeters. So we change channel, the main channel. Okay, and here we have low power at UHF 70 centimeters. 1 point something watts at low power. Let's go to medium power at 70 centimeters. 3.6. Okay, and let's see how it performs at the highest setting. Again, 70 centimeters high. 10 watts. Okay, it almost got 11 there. Yeah, I guess. Very good. it's the powerhouse that you expected to be as it should, I guess. Pretty impressive. As I said before, okay, there are not many cases that you're going to need 12 watts, but it's good to have it with you and know that it can deliver. Okay, I have connected the Beast, the second Beast, to my laptop, and let's have a look at the CPS. First thing that I noticed is that it's a CPS for a series of radios from Baofeng. It's not dedicated to this one. It's a series of handheld radios from Baofeng that share the similar internal software. So as you can see up here, we have a list of all those versions of handhelds that can be used with the CPS. And of course, in order to proceed, we have select the correct one, which is UV25 Pro in this case. And we can do a read from the radio. Perfect. Now, this is the memory display of our channels, but not all of them. As I said before, this radio has banks. It has 10 banks or 10 zones that you can store your memory frequencies in. This is the first one. So this is bank 1 or zone 1. It has the first 100 memories that can be stored in this section of the radio. What I have put here is the PMR GMRS frequencies. And you can rename the banks or the zones down here. You put the name you like and it takes it. Other options here are clear all. Of course, it will delete all the memories that are in the radio. Clear bank, just to delete this zone or this bank of memories. And from these buttons here, you can move forward or backwards to the zones that are stored in the radio. So if I go to next, for instance, as you can see, I go to bank number 2, zone number 2, which I have set some of my repeaters in the area that I'm interested in. And you continue from here and so on. So this is the next 100 memories. I'll show you a way to do this quickly and easily, actually easier from Chirp later. Okay, let's go back to bank 1. Standard options of CPS. There's nothing special here. We can see, okay, channel information is this window, VFO mode, default frequencies for the VFOs, and other settings for the plain VFO option of the radio. As we can see here, power, low, high, wide, narrow, step, and if you need any offset or stuff like that, the VFO scan rates that we can set in the radio, you can also set it here. Okay, I don't need to change anything here. You can change those to your liking. Next option is the settings that are in the menu, radio function, quotes, language, display type if you want name, frequency, or channel number. We show all of those in the menu of the radio. There's nothing new here or hidden. Here's the GPS mode. Right now we have it to off. As I said, the translation here is better maybe in some parts. So it's GPS Beidou and GPS plus Beidou, the Chinese system of GPS. I have enabled both. And other options here that are also in the menu, there's nothing you can't find in the system of the radio. Another thing that you can set here is in the menu what it says DTMF. It's not exactly DTMF, I have to say that. It's 20 contacts. You can set some codes here. This is in the menu of the radio. It's radio setting menu number, let me see, I think it's 19. Yes, it's number 19, which is called ANI edit. We show it in the menu system in the beginning of the video. So these are 20 contacts where you can set some DTMF codes like these ones here, 101, 103, 102, up to 120, or you can change them to your liking in order to have 20 contacts with which you can share your GPS data if you have a similar unit or a compatible unit from Baofeng. So if you have two units with the same software, the same firmware, like two Baofeng's UV25 Plus GPS, or for instance a Baofeng UV25 and another compatible model like UV28, you can share your GPS location with those contacts that you have set here. And you have to set in each radio its own number, its own ID. So for instance, this radio has a local ID 101, which is contact 1 here. It's the first contact, always the host radio. And you can have your other radios as different codes and different contacts in this table here. I'll see if I can do a demo for this. I'll see if I can do a demo for this after the programming here in the lab. Now let's have a look to Chirp. As I said before, this radio is compatible with Chirp. If we check the website of the company of Baofeng with this model, UV25 plus 12 watts 3 power GPS radio, as we see right now that I'm making the video, it's at 57 euros. And if we go down here to the description, you can see a little note that says choose UV21 Pro GPS on Chirp. So Baofeng knows about this, it's compatible with Chirp, which is a great thing. I have to say it again. And let's check Chirp to see how this works. So we'll go to radio, download from radio, and we select UV21 Pro GPS. Although I have found that it also works with UV17 Pro GPS, but I'll go with the suggested one, which is UV21 Pro GPS, and read all the data that I have passed in the radio. Great, so everything is downloaded. As you can see, all the memories are presented here in the usual Chirp function. My PMR GMRS frequencies. This is the first tab here. Let's go to the settings tab for a second. So everything that is in the menu of the radio and the CPS of the company is here too. You can change anything you want, as we show. And other things that we have here, work mode settings is the 2 VFO settings. DTMF and code settings. This is what I said before about the 20 contacts that you need in order to have your other radios and be able to share the GPS location between them. And bank names, the zones, the 10 zones, banks that each holds 100 channels, 100 memories. So this is what I have set in my radio. You can change them here, also from Chirp, much easier to do. And of course, as usual, if you have your memories in a CSV file, as I have said in other videos, with Chirp, you can copy and paste them here very quickly and program them back to the radio and not have to write them one by one in the CPS of the company, which is not very easy. So about the 10 memory banks that this radio has, if we go to the tab that says banks in Chirp, and we see that in my first bank I have PMR and GMRS channels set in bank 1, but if I try to change one of those, here I get an error that says that this radio has fixed banks and does not allow reassignment. No problem, because we can change easily banks from within Chirp, and I'll show you how. So as I said in the beginning, this radio has 1000 channels. Each bank in Chirp is represented by 100 numbers. So from number 1 to number 100 is bank 1. From number 101 to 200 is bank 2, and so on. So if I want to go, let's say, down here to my ISS frequencies, which I have them in bank 7, I will just place here in the memories the frequencies that I want in numbers 601 and on. When I start from here, it will place them automatically in bank 7. Pretty easy to do, and you don't have to deal with the CPS of Baofeng if you don't want to. Right, so here I have two radios that are compatible between them, two Baofeng radios with the same operating system that are compatible and can exchange GPS data. This is the UV25 Plus GPS, the Beast, the second version of the Beast, and this is the UV28, we'll see it in another video. I have set them both in the same frequency, so they can communicate between them. And if we activate the GPS on both, you keep press the red button. Okay, this is my position. Here the first screen says my place. It has acquired GPS position. And if we go to the other one, keep press the red button. Okay, my place, it has also acquired GPS position. Now, this radio, as we saw in the CPS, it has a contact code of 101, 101. And I have set this radio to a contact code of 103 from its own menu system here. So this is the host radio 101 and this is 103. So if I go here to contact number 3, which is 103 if you remember from the codes that we set in the CPS, and press PTT, I just requested the position of the other radio, the sounds that you heard, they communicated between them in the same frequency and received the GPS position of the other radio. At the same time, it sent my position to the UV28. So, if you set your contacts with the valid DTMF codes, it's very easy to share your contact or request a position from another member of your team and set back the position that you're in, providing that your radios are compatible with them and use the same operating system. Another great feature for an outdoors radio, and pretty useful too if you ask me. This was a presentation of the UV25 Plus GPS, the newest version of UV25 that was known as the Beast. This one, I can easily say it can be the Beast number 2. It's definitely a radio that's for outdoor use, hiking, traveling, huge battery, GPS positioning, fall detection, all features that could be useful to you when you're outdoors, and of course about 10 to 11 watts output power. Not for everyday use, but in a difficult situation when you're away from everything, it might be useful. I hope you liked this video and this presentation. I'd like to hear your comments in the section below. If you're interested in this radio, check the link in the description, and see you next time.